I think it goes without saying that PlayStation has an amazing lineup of first-party games, and for that reason, this top 10 list was by far the hardest I had to make. There were just so many games, and they were all like interchangeable with one another. It took me a while, but I eventually made a list, and I'm happy with it. But this is fully my opinion. Fully my opinion, and it's very, very subjective. And you guys may disagree with that, and that's fine. Just feel free to comment your list down below. It's the highest game on this list at just number 10 with a 96 overall rating. Come on, you're Nathan Drake, he's like the most likable character out there. You just can't hate the guy. 2 years after the events of the first game, you partner with Chloe and Elena from the first game to find the Chintamani stone before Lazarevich. The gameplay is pretty bare bones. I mean, it's your average third-person shooter. You can sneak around in some certain areas, but honestly, it's kinda boring and I just prefer killing everyone straight up. Although the gameplay is basic, it does not take away from the amazing set action pieces, likable characters, plot twists, and one of the most iconic intros. This is the perfect game to play after having a bad day or just any day. You just feel so happy while playing it, it's so joyful. Your PlayStation 5 chip gets broken down into pieces like the motherboard and graphics card, whatever, into pieces by this alien. So you have to collect all those missing parts in order to progress. And you also have to find the missing bots who were lost during the attack. You'll find a bunch of references to any PlayStation first-party game, and you get to play as some different characters. The platforming is fairly easy. I do wish there was like a difficult version like Crash Bandicoot, but that wasn't what they were aiming for. The best part, in my opinion, is how they utilize the DualSense controller. You just feel everything. Like you walk on metal, you feel like clacks and stuff, and all the vibrations of everything. I had my speakers muted, I even noticed for a while that it was, because that's how good it is. Props to them for making such a wholesome game. Definitely the most underrated game here. Your wonder and your main objective is to kill the completely different Colossi, 16 of them, with your horse Argo to save the lady. And how do you kill said Colossi? It's to climb on their weak point, stab there repeatedly till they die. You have 3 things, a sword, bow and arrow, and most importantly, the grip meter. So make sure that it's not run out while fighting them, or else you'll fall to the ground and splat down. All the different boss fights are for the most part unique and different. You have to think, you can't just overpower everything in your way. You gotta strategize, you know? They are also enjoyable. I'm actually thinking to replay the game right now because it's been a while since I played it, and it's very short, it's like 8-hour game. Why did they make the story so emotional? I don't think you need an introduction to Spidey or Peter. It's the best Spider-Man game to date. You get to find the whole Sinister Six in one game. Only downside is that there wasn't much character development from the films themselves, but it's okay. You work for Doc Ock, and we all knew how it was gonna go down. I like all the characters. I love Aunt May. I actually didn't mind MJ for once, except for those god-awful missions. Why would you go from swinging around the heavily detailed and accurate New York as Spider-Man, whipping up every single person, to playing as a defenseless MJ? And I wish those missions were short. No. They felt like an eternity. At least the stealth as Spider-Man was fun, and it was very similar to the Arkham games. And that's a good thing, honestly. Best thing is,
coupled with gameplay that made me feel like Spider-Man.
okay, I know some of you guys may argue that this isn't an exclusive, but it was on the PlayStation 1 for 25 years, so I'm counting it, I do not care. It's one of the most important games here, basically in Venom modern day stealth. You infiltrate Shadow Moses as Solid Snake, fighting a bunch of enemies and bosses. Best one by far is the Cyborg Ninja. I find myself using the Silent Pistol most of the time as it's just the best and it's the only quiet gun you have. To be fair, it is very hard to aim and the controls are awkward, which is the problem with these OG Metal Gear games. But honestly, I have so much fun with them. I usually shy away from games with bad controls, but here I am willing to fully play it and enjoy it. And they better remake this classic.
I'm here, Snake. Where are you looking? Hurry up and catch me.
The Khan army invades the land of Tsushima, and you, as Jin Sakai, a samurai, you've been training your whole life. Your dad is one of the most loved people. This is your chance to finally prove yourself. And your uncle also gets captured. Jin survives, and it's only him and the little of what is left of the Tsushima people against one big strong army. And the only way to beat them is to go against everything you stand for, losing your honor in the process, and becoming the ghost.
Invaders! Look at your general! Run!
And that's the only story. Gameplay is even better. Of course, it is a parry system. It's very forgiving. You only have one weapon, so there's no variety in that department, but you get different stances that work effectively depending on the enemy. You being a samurai and all, you can of course sneak around, which is what I always do, with a grappling hook and stuff and a bow and arrow, shooting from afar. Absolutely amazing game.
You cannot defeat me.
I can't have this channel and not mention Bloodborne. It's the toughest on this list and in my opinion has the best combat. Well, this and number 3 spot. And it pairs so well with the rally mechanic, even making you more aggressive. You have a good amount of weapons to use, and not as much as the Dark Souls series, but it's good enough. And each weapon has a different form called a strict form, so you can change how a whole weapon looks, feels, and plays in a press of a button. The areas in Bloodborne are good for the most part, but it's really the setting and the atmosphere in is what carries this game. Biggest letdown in this game, in my opinion, is the bosses. There are only like 5 good bosses. And that's really disappointing because I wish they were able to utilize the fun combat in more bosses. But they, made really good bosses in the Old Hunters DLC. And I don't understand why Sony won't remaster or remake this game, or even just add a 60fps patch, because that's the easiest crash grab of the decade. At least this community is working on a PC port via emulation, and I honestly cannot wait to replay this game in 120fps.
My guiding moonlight.
This is Angry Kratos at his prime. He has one goal, to get revenge on Zeus, and he makes that very clear.
The hands of death could not defeat me. The sisters of fate could not hold me. And you will not see the end of this day. I will have my revenge!
But before getting to Zeus, you basically fight every god in Olympus, constantly going from one god to another, and he does not hold back one bit. Whoever gets in his way is basically dead. He doesn't care what happens to Greece, what happens to himself, nothing. He just wants to finish his goal. God of War is a hack and slash, so they throw hordes and hordes of enemies onto you, and you opposite demolish them with combos and Zero Blades of Chaos, arguably the most iconic weapons in video games. They also give you a lot of weapons, but in any God of War game, I always use the blades no matter what. They just seem the most fun and the strongest one to you. Well, they're not the strongest. It's just not right not to use the blades, It doesn't feel right. And the graphics are just wow. This game came out in 2010, by the way.
Zeus! Your son has returned. I bring the destruction of Olympus!
Father and daughter just chilling out late at night, and then a zombie outbreak happens. They try to flee the country, and then the daughter gets shot and dies.
Listen to me, I know this hurts, baby. You're gonna be okay, baby. Stay with me.
That's like the worst thing that could happen to Joel. Years later, he is tasked to basically escort Ellie out of there, and they gradually form a father and daughter bond. The story is honestly one of the best out there. It's so emotional, so much is happening. You're depressed, there's no hope, a lot of selfishness if I might say myself. It is a survival horror, so you have to manage your resources, which I found to be the hardest out of like RE2 or Dead Space. I can find myself constantly out of ammo, so I had to stick around, which is perfect because I love stealth games, so I don't really mind that, and that's how I like to play. The horror element is weak, so don't worry, the only scary thing is those goddamn clickers. Naughty Dog just excels at making such likable characters. And Last of Us Part 2 is not here because, again, I'm still halfway through it and I don't want to rank it because I still haven't finished it. Kratos has found peace within himself. To another family in Norse mythology, his wife dies, I don't know how, but she dies, and it's only him and
Boy.
her last dying wish was to spread her ashes on the largest mountain of all the realms, Jotunheim. But it's never that simple, right? It never is. Baldur comes knocking at their door.
Leave my home.
They start beating the crap out of each other.
My turn.
But ultimately, of course, Kratos wins. But he's old now, so this fight really hits him hard. So turning the simple task of spreading her ashes to being a not so fun journey with
Boy.
who Kratos will do absolutely anything to protect him. It's crazy how Kratos went from a rage-induced killing machine to a father who just wants to make his family happy. This is why Kratos will forever be the best protagonist in a video game, him and Arthur.
I'm afraid.
Why do I talk about story so much? Well, that's the best part of this game. I absolutely love every time there's a cutscene, especially when it's about Kratos' past. It's like a movie. It's so nice to watch, so enjoyable, and it's better than the gameplay. Now, it's no more a hack and slash. It's a Souls adjacent kind of. It's an RPG now. I don't really like this change. I like the gameplay. I don't like how it changed from what we had to what we have now. Does it fit more? Yes, but I just love the fixed camera and doing cool combos. You can still do that, and it's still fun. And you could even throw your Leviathan axe, but I just missed the old one, that's it. I'm aware that there are many games gone from this list. And that's the best thing about ranking, that everyone has a different list. So write your list down below, and what games do you think should have been on this list? And check out more rankings like this one, where I rank best stealth games that are a must play.